I was shy up in the kingdom, yeah.
Who are we? It's real. That who are we? It's real. Can't hear you.
Israel.
Who's the power?
Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's the power.
I said, who's the power?
Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's the power. Yeah. I'm chilling.
Taking it out. Oh. All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
All right. I guess we could do some announcements real quick. We haven't done those. Well, I know I haven't. Have y'all? Did y'all do them last class? Oh no. We don't even do announcements on Facebook.
No, not on Facebook.
Yeah, it just seems that we don't do it. Anyway, brothers and sisters, if you don't know by now, we are in these locations that she's going to put up. And we have other brothers and sisters that watch us throughout other cities as well. So if you're looking for someone to congregate with that's like-minded, you can get a hold of us and maybe we can link you with them if you're out of town, or of course if you're in town in these locations, come and check us out at these locations. Mashaba has a blog talk radio. I think him, Tazapah, maybe Banabad. Your brothers and sisters can check that out. Support that. San Antonio class. Do y'all got a what you call it for one real quick? Okay, do a free shot real quick. Throw one up there. San Antonio classes. Priest of War, Shamshuan, Dawiyad. These brothers been out there over 20 plus years. San Antonio is one of the original schools. It's been through its ups and downs, like every school, but they still kicking it and strong out there, doing the work of the Most High. So don't forget about San Antonio classes. They've been having some good classes too. When I get a chance, I try to link in to their topics and things of that nature. The funny thing is, we tried to one time coordinate on that, but everybody be moving so much, man, that, right now it's in the spirit. They can be on a topic, then we can hit another form of the topic. Then Zion can come and hit another form of the topic, right? So it be the spirit how these topics come out. And of course, y'all know that a lot of these topics that we touch on deal with the spiritual being, the spiritual being of the schools. So check out San Antonio. We also are getting it back rolling in Houston with the news show. All right, we're getting back on that this year. We're gonna really dig into those shows more than ever. So the Hidden Truth Bible show, the 5 Minutes of Wisdom, all those different shows we have. Please support. They're in the link at the top of the channel. You can check out some of those shows and a lot of basic ones for the brothers and sisters that ask questions. All right. I wouldn't. Back when it was like 5 years ago, I would refer people to the classes. Be like, oh yeah, we've been over that. But a lot of these cats ain't watching 3 hours, 4 hours of class. So we got classes that are more smaller, right? On there, 5 Minutes of Wisdom, the Hidden True Bible Show. If you miss class, all right, or you want to hit up a person with some basics, check out our Israel Wear. We're recalibrating and getting things together, but the sisters are still up and kicking. We need more sisters' help. We need more sisters that are going to dedicate their time, their commitment to doing those things, right? To the garments. We got Fringed Up. That still is kicking in there. But we need more subscriptions. We need brothers and sisters to help. If you want to subscribe to that, you get shirt. You can get the, I think it's a headband.
God.
You know, brothers and sisters need it. And we know you're strapped for money, but we got these things outside of just asking for alms. We're trying to do these other things that bring in money, right? The chosen creations, the same thing. These are just other venues to try to bring in money, so all the burden won't be on alms, right? And alms deeds. So, I had a joke the other day with Quatazat. I said, man, we only get respect and we only going to get commitment if we come into the Passover with a horse. You know what I mean? It almost seems like you got to really promote yourself and really be those people to get acknowledgement. I'm not saying I'm going there because that's whack as hell to me.
God.
But it's whack that you get these schools that they really promote men more and they get all the help they need. It shouldn't be like that. You know what I mean? No, I'm not saying it shouldn't be like their schools don't help them. What I'm saying is brothers and sisters should see the works we're doing. And because every title class, it ain't Priest Kazak is at it again, or Priest Kazak this, or Priest Kazak that. It shouldn't be like, oh, I support, or now I don't really support that much because these brothers don't pump their name out there like they're Christ. I don't know. I had to say it. I had to say it because it's like you got to say some weird stuff to get acknowledged, or you got to be controversial. You can't just teach. You know what I mean? I got to be known as General Kazakian. You know what I mean? Elder Kazakian. And then you get what? You get that? No, seriously. You know what I mean? It's like, but you see in our titles and things like that, we don't move like that. And it almost seems like, well, maybe you should then. Because that's the only time brothers and sisters really are tuned in. Like, yeah, I want to be down with that. It's whack. And I'm saying this. Promote and help the truth. You know what I mean? Promote and help the truth. It shouldn't be about all the shenanigans. I'm going to ride in on a wooden horse made by Chosen Creations because we're broke as hell. Alright? So when you see me come in with it, don't. I can see Aaron right now, like just shaking his head, like, bro, why did you do that? I would come in like that. All right. Jokes aside. It's the Shabbat. What else we got there? If you want to get a hold of us, everybody that tunes in knows how to get a hold of us. If you're new and you want to get a hold of us, our number is there. You can ask questions and get counsel. For y'all that are familiar, you know that we don't just say that, we do it, all right? And we don't charge or nothing like that. A lot of people ask that, how much you charge for class? How much you... No, we don't charge, all right? Now, we do ask for help, but it ain't no like you call in and your hour starts and it's $10.99 a minute or whatever. Nah. So if you want to help out the school, as always, the water for everybody that does help, we appreciate y'all. I know brothers don't like their names put out there, but if you left it up to me, I'd say who you were. You know, you'd be like, this brother, this sister, the water. You know what I mean? So the water to y'all that continually help, and it doesn't only help this school, it helps out all of our schools, all right? So that's the announcements. No questions? Nobody got any questions? La? Can I get a strong la? La! Or a con if you got one. All right. So who else we got on there?
There's no questions online.
Okay. All right. So if nobody got any questions, I'm going to give them a few seconds for the feed to sink down. And then we're just going to this topic tonight. Anything on y'all mind? We actually had a good, it was a question class yesterday. Brothers liked it. It was the Melchizedek class. It came out good. Your husband's here. Okay. All right. Well, he got a question. I didn't think he was coming tonight, so we're going to touch on that one real quick. We're going to touch on Joel 3 and 8. Real quick.
I do have a question.
Wait till he come in. Okay, what you got? While we wait for him to walk in.
It was 1 Peter 3 and 19.
Go ahead.
I forgot how to break this down.
Mm-hmm.
1 Peter chapter 3 verse 19. By which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like, I know like you in church, they tell you like Yahweh Shai was like in hell preaching to the spirits that was in hell. So I'm trying to figure out how to break that down in the truth.
Okay, we'll go over that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not like y'all asking questions that you don't just want to throw out there some understanding. You want to go to scriptures in its entirety, and that would take the whole class.
Okay.
All right, so we'll touch on that. We'll go on the other one, and then
Okay.
go all the way down the road. Well, those are good questions. I mean, y'all know we've been on that before too.
Yeah.
They're just deep in the algorithm. They're deep in all those classes we've been doing. But the brother had a question on Joel 3 and 8. So let's go there. Let's go to Joel 3 and 1. We're going to do this one quick. This is an easy one. I just wanted a double check on it. But this is an easy one. This is not going to take long. And then we're going to go into the class tonight, which we held from yesterday. So go to Joel 3 and 1 so we can get some context of what it's talking about. And then we're going to go to verse 8 and answer that. Go ahead.
Joel chapter 3 verse 1.
Right?
For behold, in those days and in that time,
When
thou shalt bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Right, meaning the Most High was going to what? Bring us out of these things. Right? So this is a prophecy of the future. Because, no, the children of Judah are not out of captivity. Right? Oh yeah, they're in their land. They've been free. No, we are not free. Right? Whether northern kingdom or southern kingdom. Whether the Jews or the Israelites. And I say that because y'all understand about the kingdoms being divided. Right? Go ahead.
And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel.
Okay, I want you to read that again because this is going to kind of set the tone in the 8th verse. Go ahead.
Verse 2 from the top. I will also gather all nations.
He would do what?
Gather all nations.
He would do what?
Gather all nations.
Right. Why is he gathering all nations? I mean, y'all know outside of this. Come on now. Why is he gathering all nations? What?
Because Israel was scattered amongst all nations.
Oh, it's not going into that part though. You're right. Israel is scattered among all nations, but when he's just gathering them in the valley of Jehoshaphat, it's not dealing with that part. It's dealing with a whole other part. What?
All the nations had a part in our captivity.
There you go. That's what it is. All nations had a part in our captivity. So the subject is what? In the future, the nations, right? There's going to come to a period in this time where how we went over the last days and all the prophecies, right? Okay, it's going to bring us to this point. We know the sounds of trumpet, right? The heavens shall open. Christ will descend, all right? Revelation 19:11 with angels. He's going to be sitting on a white horse with a million chariots, right? Okay. And then he's going to do what?
Gather all nations.
Go ahead.
And will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
That means the valley of decision, right? So it's going to be this place. This is the same place when you read in 2nd Esdras 13 when it tells you about Yahweh Shai is going to come and everybody's going to wars and rumors of wars and all these things going on. And he's going to stand, right? And they're going to turn and face him. This is the same thing. It's no different, right? Go ahead.
And will plead with them there.
And we know plead with them when you go to Isaiah 34. It says he will what? Stump the residue of the nations. Right? So it ain't like, please. Well, when you look up that word plead, it goes a little bit deeper than just please, right? Go ahead.
And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel.
Right, because what is happening? What is happening? What? Why is he pleading? Why is he pleading with us? Pleading with them for us? We gotta start doing this. Why, Eric?
Because of the anguish, heartache, tribulation, and the trouble that put us through.
There you go. And why else?
They still have us in their possession.
There you go. They still have us in. See, no robots here, baby.
Right.
Right, because y'all can prove that, right? Okay. So we still in the possessions of the heathen. We still in captivity. So Yahweh Shai is coming to deliver us out of this. What nation? Trick question. We just said it. But I'm reestablishing the 8th verse for him. Because if we establish the 2nd verse, then the 8th verse is going to be like, yeah, what?
One of the prophecies said that we'll be brought out of the land of the north.
Right. What nation, though? You said it earlier. What nations have we been under captivity? What?
Every nation.
Every nation. All nations. So who's going to be brought to captivity and punishment and anguish and pain and suffering? Who is it? All nations, right? Psalms 83 says they were what? Confederate against us, right? Okay. Go ahead.
Whom they have scattered among the nations.
Right? And like the brother said, we are scattered among them, right? Go ahead.
And parted my land.
Right?
And they have cast lots for my people.
Right?
And have given a boy for an harlot.
Right, that shows slavery. Who did we go under captivity and slavery under? All nations. We like to point out the so-called white man because we're currently in that nation's hand. But we've been through all nations. Go ahead.
And sold a girl for wine. That they might drink. Yea.
Right, and that, in 1620, in the 1500s, right, in 538 BC, I think the Assyrian Empire, 586 BC, the Babylonian Empire, right, 227 BC, the Roman Empire, or 27 BC, right, then you have America came in, right? And I'm just going through the 4 major ruling empires that we know in Daniel, right? We know there was other little peon nations that came in, right? And ruled as well. I guess I could have started from the Egyptian captivity, right?
Yeah.
We could have went all the way back there. Go ahead.
Yea. And what had he to do with me?
Right.
O Tyre.
O Tyre.
O Tyre.
Right.
And Zidon.
Right. So Tyre and Zidon is referring to who? What? Who? Go ahead.
I was going to say Hamites.
The Hamites. So we got that clear that this is talking about the Hamites, right? Go ahead.
And all the coast of Palestine.
Palestine. Right. The Palestinians, right? The Philistines. Go ahead.
Will ye render me a recompense?
Right. Question. Are you going to give back to me? Right. Go ahead.
And if ye recompense me.
Right. And if you're going to give this back, you're going to give it back to me, right? You're going to give me back what is mine. Go ahead.
Swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head.
Right, because they're not going to escape. Right? I'll wait for that. Go ahead.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold.
When you go to Lamentations, what is it, 2 or 3? It tells you that Israel is the jewels of the Most High. Right? He says they're the jewels of the Most High. The gold of the vessels. He refers to us, the children of Israel, as his silver and his gold. Not just his temple, the things in the temple, the people are the jewels of the Most High. Right? Go ahead.
And have carried your temples,
Uh-huh.
my goodly, pleasant things.
Go ahead.
The children also of Judah.
Right, the children of Judah. Go ahead.
And the children of Jerusalem.
So that's putting what? The whole nation. This is a future prophecy of what is going to happen to the nations. Go ahead.
Have ye sold unto the Grecians?
The Grecians. Now, during this time, the word Grecian, it wasn't as vast as you read it in the New Testament. Because we know in the New Testament, when it said Grecian, it was referring to Israelites that adopted the custom of the Greeks. But you're talking about during the Babylonian Empire and the Syrian Empire, those were really the what? The Greek people. Right? Go ahead.
That he might remove them far from their border.
Uh-huh.
Behold, I will raise them out of the place whether ye have sold them.
So we're clear that this is a future prophecy, right? Okay, go ahead.
And will return your recompense upon your own head.
Go ahead.
And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah.
Mm-hmm.
And they shall sell them to the Sabaeans.
Right, to the Sabaeans. The Sabaeans. Go ahead.
To a people far off.
Now, the problem is, how is everybody going to be in captivity, but then we're selling our kids to people in captivity? I think that's the question, right? Like, how does that make any sense? Right? So when you look up this, when you go to, if y'all go to your,
Blue letter?
yeah, go to your blue letter, but for y'all that actually have the book, it's the Braggs, no, we're going to go there. It's the blue letter Braggs, it's an actual dictionary. Right? Go ahead, what you got? You're going to look up, I want you to go to, so if you go to Sabians, right? We're going to go to, check this out. I want you to go to Isaiah 45:17 real quick. And I want you to look up that in your brags, because it's contradictory. If you're coming to put all nations into captivity and slavery because what they did to us, how are we going to sell our kids to somebody that's going to be in captivity? It kind of don't make sense. Well, when you look up the word, you're going to see why. So go to Isaiah 45. Go to Isaiah 45 and 14. And you're going to look that up in your blue letter. And what do you got?
Isaiah chapter 45 verse 14.
Go ahead, read that real quick and then we'll go there. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, the labor of Egypt and merchandise of Ethiopia and of the Sabians,
right,
men of stature,
right,
shall come over unto thee,
right,
and they shall be thine,
right.
They shall come after thee in chains. They shall come over, and they shall fall down unto thee.
Right. So these nations are going to be in chains. How are we going to sell another nation to a nation that's in chains? But when you look up this Sabians, right? When you look it up here, it says the drunkards, the people of Sibia, right? That's what it says here. Drunkards or the people of the Sibia, right? Okay. Now go to Job 1 verse 15. I'm just showing y'all this, where Joel is just the transliteration problem here. Job 1 verse 15. Now mind you, Isaiah 45:17 said what? That definition of their name was drunkards, right? Or it says people of the Sabians, or Sheba, right? All right. So Job 1:15, read that.
Job chapter 1 verse 15. And the Sabians fell upon them.
Right, now this Sabians, you're going to see that they're both Sabians. We just read that. Well, where's the difference at? Because when you look up Sheba here, or Seba here, Sabians, it says Sheba 7, it says, or an oath. I don't know if y'all looking it up. But when you look it up here, it says Sheba 7 or oath. So we're looking at this word. When you jump down in the Strong's, it says the name of the early progenitors of the tribe of an Ethiopian, Sheba Sabians, right? Okay, now let's go back to Joel. Check this out. Now we're going to go back to Joel 3 verse 8, and we're going to do the same thing and look up Sabians, and it still says drunkard, but there's something that's totally different. It says, or he who is coming. You see that? How the transliteration of that word was not properly translated correctly. And that's what you get why you got to look it up in the Hebrew to where you're seeing, oh, wait a minute. Now it puts the precept in context. Because in the second verse, it's telling us that they're going to be in captivity and slavery. And then in the 8th verse, it's going to say then Isaiah said they're going to be in chains. So we can go based on the understanding of the Bible that it has to go more with he who is coming. Right? Okay. So when you read it, that definition of Sabians ain't the same as Job or Isaiah. And that's why they added that part here. You read down, it says Sebeites or descendant of Sheba, but it added a different understanding than all the other things we read, which was he who is coming. Now, let's go back and read it with that understanding. Read Joel 3 and 8.
Joel chapter 3 verse 8.
Go ahead.
And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah.
Right.
And they shall sell them to the Sabians.
Right. Or he who is coming. Which is who? Yahushua. You see that? That makes more sense. So, translation issue there. Just like when you go to the New Testament, it says Easter for Passover. We know there's no such thing as Easter, right? So we had to what? Look up the word and say, okay, wait a minute, something's wrong here, because we didn't celebrate that. And you see that for the Hebrew or the Greek translation, somebody used a different definition to define that word as opposed to the proper understanding. Y'all get this? Okay. All right. I mean, does that make a little more sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah, because there's no way if they're going to be in slavery, we're going to be selling our people or selling people to them when they're going to be slaves. Yeah.
Where you get that difference? That he who is coming?
It literally is in the same thing. So, you know how we just looked up the Strong's? It's 87615. Yep. So, I mean, once again, understanding-wise, that's the only thing it could be, because we just read in Isaiah that they're going to be in chains. They're going to be servants. And according to, we know Psalms 83, we know what we just read in the second verse, they're going to be servants in captivity. So it just makes more sense according to that understanding. Yeah. Did that help a little bit? Okay. All right. Anything else online before we jump into this topic? Okay. All right. So, yeah, we postponed this topic because we wanted everybody to get in class. Is everybody going to be here?
Yeah.
Right? But the reason why we got, man, and I'm going to tell y'all straight out. We got stubborn young people that are putting themselves in conditions that they don't need to be. So that's where this class is coming from. It's coming from there because all we can do is warn brothers and sisters. We can't force you. This ain't about putting a gun to your head. It's like you can either be told the right thing and follow and say, wait a minute, let me do the right thing, or let me keep making bad decision making. You know, and I'm not going to say the names, but these brothers got in a car accident, wrecked the car, right? Like God, it could have been worse than a DWI and just a wrecked truck. But the reason why it's like that, it's not in our city. But the reason why it's like that is because there's a spirit of stubbornness that is in Israel. There's a spirit of, I'm gonna do miyak, and I'm not gonna hear wisdom. And we're in the times. Go to Revelations real quick. Let's go to Revelations just to remind us why we touch on these topics. I mean, we should just be able to truthfully hit a topic and it be soaked up, right? We talk about the subject and brothers consider based on the knowledge and say, damn, you know what? I gotta watch myself. I gotta keep under my body. But you got brothers and sisters that are coming to the knowledge and not taking this seriously and making it as though it's like the Most High is giving you the option. I mean, He is giving you an option. But is there really an option? It's an option, right? Choose you this day, life or death. But is it an option? At this point in stage, we should already be aware that there's no other option but following the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High. What is that? 12? Revelation 12. That says, a short time. I thought it was short. Man, I gotta get my old Bible back from my. Is it 12 and 12? Yeah, 12 and 12. Go ahead, read that.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 12.
Go ahead.
Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them.
Go ahead.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea.
Right.
For the devil is come down unto you,
right,
having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Wrath is happening because he knows he has a short time. And the devil's he's on that kamikaze stuff. If I'm gonna go, you're gonna go with me. Right? And that's what mind state he's in. Like, he doesn't give a damn about you. Your bad decision making, he's laughing at you. He's waiting because he knows what's going to happen. Right? You're going to put yourself in situations that's death-defying. Yeah, I got to say it. Brothers in Rochester, man, it's like a constant smoke of haze over there. That if you don't snap out of it and you keep taking this as a joke, Most High's going to start putting cats to death. Because it's not a joke. You know what I mean? And it's not only Rochester, wherever the truth is at, the Most High is warning us. Right? Y'all should know, we should be aware that Satan's time is short and that he's not playing. But that don't spark nobody that is playing. That's like Khan, but I'm going to do me. Okay, keep doing you. When the Most High he kills family members, he kills friends, he kills people around you, he takes this, he takes that, then maybe one day you'll snap out of it. But our job is to warn brothers and sisters. Right? Go to 1 Corinthians. It's actually Peter's, yeah. Go to 1 Peter's 2. No. Go to 1 Peter. Let me get this one. I'm going rando here. But y'all see that, right? He has a short time. And he's not playing, man. Satan is not joking. And this is what the kids too. Right? The kids, you can't come in oblivious. Right? You can't come in like, well, I got a choice. You should understand that the last school shooting should show you, oh, The Most High slain old and young,
Right.
maids and little children.
Con.
He don't give a damn about, oh, you're 12, 13. You could be a 13, 14-year-old demon. And Satan is what? Trying to consume you. Y'all know what they're doing in those schools. So you can't say, oh, they're pure and innocent. Nah, they on that transgender tip. You know what I mean? My daughter said she was the only non-lesbian binary person in her class. That's sickening. That's disgusting. Right? You find it? Where is it? Did you find it? Oh, I want to grab this one real quick. Hold on. Go ahead. What you guys? Oh, I thought somebody was talking. Yeah, it's man. I know it's in the New Testament. Yeah. Let me find this, y'all. It's not on his topic. It's not on his class, but it is.
Yes. 4:17. 4:17.
First Peter chapter 4 verse 17.
1 second. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say read up, but no, start there. You're right. Go ahead.
First Peter chapter 4 verse 17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God.
Right. Judgment is going to begin here. It's going to begin with all these Israelites. It's going to begin with all these brothers and sisters that are saying what? I believe. Right? I'm a doer of the word. Judgment is starting here. And that's why when we touch on these topics, we really want y'all to consider what the Most High is saying. Because you're bringing pain on yourself that you don't need to bring. Punishment on yourself that you don't need to bring on yourself. Go ahead.
And if first begin at us, what shall the envy of them?
What shall the what?
What shall the envy of them that obey not the gospel of God?
So judgment is going to start with us. So that's why we're touching on this topic, man. We're touching on the topic of the stubbornness. The definition of stubbornness is dogged determination not to change one's attitude or position on something heard, to convince, persuade. Hard to convince, persuade, or move. Not to be moved or persuaded by reasoning. Not to be persuaded or moved by reasoning. And that's what the scripture is supposed to do. That's why the Most High deals with the multitude of counsel. Their safety. Their safety through reasoning, right? Through, wait a minute, not being stuck in your own way and thinking you know. There's safety in that, right? Go to Genesis. We're going to start out here. Genesis 4. Read that, Genesis 4, verse 2.
Genesis chapter 4 and verse 2. And she again bare his brother
right.
Abel.
Right.
And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground.
And the reason why we have to go here, because the story is about the first one with this stubborn spirit, right? I mean, we could have went to Eve, but we didn't want to do that. We're gonna go the devil's own, right? Cain, right? This is where that spirit first came in at. This is where that spirit resides in, the children of Cain. Now, I'm saying that for a reason. Because the spirit of stubbornness and rebelliousness resides in the children of Cain, right? And this is why, hold that, go to John 8:44 real quick.
John chapter 8 and verse 44.
Go ahead.
You are of your father, the devil.
Right?
And the lust of your father you will do.
Right?
He was a murderer from the beginning.
We're talking about that murder. But what got this individual to this point? What was it that Cain didn't receive from his parents, from his father and mother, that got him to this point to be stubborn? Stiff-necked. Oh, you want to answer? Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't know you was giving that to the floor.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Sure. Definitely.
Instruction.
Yeah. Instruction. And that's what it comes down to. A lot of brothers and sisters, a lot of us won't even accept the instruction. Remember, I said it the other day. It'd be different if you had a wide understanding, if your senses were exercised on a level. But think about your decision making. Think about the mistakes you make. Think about how you let these spirits easily sway you, persuade you, and use you. I mean, I like to remind you of you. Like, check yourself. Why you got so many basic problems that you were supposed to come past, that you were supposed to surpass? You still dealing with relationship problems. You still dealing with remember, we transcended from that. You're supposed to come in the truth. You and your wife were supposed to be in one mind, one judgment.
God.
But you've been in the truth 5 or 6 years, and you still what? Dealing with basics. You can't even get together in unity. Based on that alone, you should say, damn, there's something I'm missing out. But that stubborn spirit tells you what? You're good. You know.
I got no problem.
Right. I don't have no problem. You know what? I got it. How many of you sisters still dealing emotional and lashing out at your husband? But how come you see everything spiritually? It trips me out. You're the most spiritual person until you're supposed to recognize the spirit of things you need to be working on. But that's why Yahushua was pointing this out in the Pharisees and the Sadducees, which he called what? He happened to call hypocrites. Like, you're so on it until it comes to the basics. Right? You want to always look at somebody else. I can see you, but you can't see all the things that you're spazzing out when dealing with yourself. How do you equate that? Tell me, how are you so smart, but you can't deal with the things in life? You're emotional as hell. You're erratic. You're double-minded every other day. Right? But all of a sudden, you can tell him or him what they're doing wrong. How? How does the Most High do that? That's what he does to you? He gives the most backward-ass person the spirit of wisdom? Nah, man, the Most High is not dealing with these type of individuals because they have this spirit of the devil on them. Go ahead.
And abode not in the truth.
And they what?
Abode not in the truth.
Okay. So, when dealing with Cain, he abode not in the truth. See? Jump back to Genesis.
Come.
Jump back to Genesis 4. Read that again.
Come. And she again bare his brother Abel. Abel was a keeper of sheep.
Go ahead.
But Cain was tiller of the ground.
Go ahead.
And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground.
Right. So just establishing why Cain was stubborn. Right? Well, why do you know he was stubborn? Because Cain brought the fruit of the ground. We went over the law. Adam knew to give what? His tithes to Melchizedek. Right. Abraham, excuse me. You got these men that knew the law, that worked the law without it being written. Why didn't Cain do what he was supposed to do? Is it like the church is saying? Oh, you know what? Why are you angry at Cain? He just gave what his heart said give. Well, there was a problem here, y'all. Go to 2nd Esdras 4:31.
Come.
2nd Esdras 4:31. Read that.
2nd Esdras chapter 4, verse 31. Ponder now by thyself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed have brought forth.
Right. We have to understand about this evil seed, the evil mentality, the evil mind, and we got to know ourselves. We got to know what things are going to hold us back from the spirit of the Most High. You got to be real with yourself. You know, James, it tells you about the man that go look in the mirror and see what manner of man he is. Right? You see all the dirt, all the filth. You see all the corruptness. But then you go right back and continue. And it's like looking in the mirror in the morning and seeing the dirt on your shirt, the booger in your nose, and just going out like that. Well, we got to consider that grain. You don't know yourself? Come on now. Well, go there real quick. Hold that. Flip that. Go to 2 Corinthians 13:5. You got to know yourself, man. You got to be able to look in the mirror and say, man, damn, I'm dealing with this demon. How many of us can confess to that? Then in the middle of confessing to the demon, you can't just, I know my problem, but all of a sudden you're pure. I'm telling y'all, it's a crazy ass mind state. I know I got spirits on me, but what I do know, I know I got demons on me, but this is what I do know. How could you know anything dealing with Satan? You know something. You know how to be demonic, evil, rebellious, stubborn, stiff-necked. But how all of a sudden now you're spiritual? You can see the light now. You're going to be clouded. And that's what we're going to see about this guy, Cain. He was clouded because of this evil seed. So while we're reading about the evil seed guy, read that.
2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5.
Go ahead.
Examine yourself.
Do what?
Examine yourself.
Are you looking at yourself? This ain't about Cain. Don't come in here and be like, man, Cain, that's crazy. Cain was an evil man. Bruh, we're going over Cain to show you. Are you like this? Do you think like this? Are you not considering the evil seed within yourself? Right? Or are you doubting? Are you, not doubting, are you just shrugging it off as though that ain't me? That ain't me. I don't do that. Huh? Probably that one, right? No, I don't do that. That ain't me. So read that real quick.
Examine yourselves.
Right?
Whether you be in the faith. Prove your own self.
Right?
Know ye not your own self.
Right. Prove your own self. So how many of us are proving ourselves? Huh? How many years you been in the truth? Have you started working on the demons that are holding you back from the spirit? Are you examining yourself like the scriptures say? Or you just what? Ignoring. You're ignoring it. What the hell is ignoring going to do for you? Hell no. You're going to end up in the light, in the tunnel, and you're still corrupted by all those things. That evil seed, the evil root. So yeah, we're going to read about Cain, but really this is about showing us where Cain, how his mind, how this spirit processes things. It's a mentality. I just said it. It can be a warped person and they swear they're spiritual. That's sad. Right? So let a man do what?
Examine yourself.
Go ahead.
Whether ye be in the faith.
Whether you be in the faith. Are you following righteously? And the only way you can follow righteously, Akwafium, is looking at yourself and knowing what your hang-ups are. That's the only way. That's the only way. Otherwise, if you're not looking at yourself and you're trying to avoid by looking at everything else and everybody else, you're never going to see what you need to get clean to clean others. And the scripture says that your obedience was supposed to be fulfilled. Did you finish that?
Prove your own self.
You got to prove your own selves. Are we like Cain? Am I like Cain? That's what you're supposed to be saying. What was in Cain? Read 2 Esdras 4:31 again.
Come, ponder now.
See, that's why I went to 2 Corinthians. I want you to think, ponder, and think. Yeah. Go ahead.
Ponder now by thyself.
Right?
How great fruit of wickedness.
You got to know what fruit of wickedness is in you. You can't be oblivious. You got too many brothers and sisters to want to avoid. Oh, you're only going to tell me the bad things about me. Right? I had a sister hang up on me earlier. I'm like, sis, is that going to help you? Is staying there going to help you? Or is fighting this going to help you? Right? I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear fight. I want to hear, please tell me what I want to hear.
Tell me smooth things.
Tell me sweet things, right? Nobody's pondering and saying, damn, I got issues in this arena. Let me attack those issues so I can stand just before Yahweh Shah.
Right.
The spirit of Cain. We're going to get into it. It's the same spirit that Cain had on him. Watch. Go ahead. Finish that.
The grave.
Oh, you had it there? Or did... Go ahead.
Of evil seed have brought forth.
Right. So this grain of evil seed have brought forth. Do you still got that root in you? Huh? What's your battle then? If I was to ask you what's your battle, could you stomach talking about it, or you're going to get irritated and feel like everybody's putting you down because you're talking about your battle? That's how you know there's a sickness. Because you don't want to face it. That's not the spirit of the Most High. That's not the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Right? So, go from there. Go to 1 Corinthians 2 and 14. This is the whole point is for us not to be this individual, man. Not to be Cain. Right? So, in process of time, Cain was supposed to bring the right fruit. But why didn't he do it? Why did Cain bring the right thing to the Most High? Why do brothers and sisters want to give what they want? Why do Christians want to give what they want? Why do killers, murderers, dope heads, why do they want to give what they... I know Jesus in my heart. You don't got to tell me about him. Me and him got a connection. Right? Why do they want to give what they want instead of doing what the Father says? Read that. 1 Corinthians 2 and 14. My bad.
1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 14.
Go ahead.
But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God.
Right. Because one of Cain's biggest mistake is his carnal mind. His natural mind. And I know we're jumping ahead of the story, but what we're doing is painting the picture on what he did not get. He was not learning from his parents.
Right.
He did not pick up the whole time that the proper process. And what got Cain to the point that we all know? He killed his brother. Right? So what got him there? The root of wickedness, the natural mind. A natural mind, a carnal mind where I don't want to see what I'm dealing with, what my battle is. Your battle is communication. Let's talk about it. I don't want to talk. Then how are you going to conquer your battle? Your battle's lust, but you don't want to confess and see it. What's bringing on the lust?
Yeah.
Right? We were talking about that yesterday. When dealing with the Melchizedek topic, we got into the law. Your battle's lust, but you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to confess. You don't want to figure out how to battle it. How are you going to conquer these things? Your battle's pride, but what? No, I ain't pride. The natural man can't receive the things of the spirit. And then you want to know why you're so behind. Once again, you're going to see that brother, he's going to be moving ahead of you in the spirit. Your husband come in, he's what? He's a general and you still a damn member. Why? Because you don't want to live up to the qualities of the Most High. But I can guarantee you what that person can do. They can definitely point it out in everybody else. It'd be the most sickest damn individual. I see it all. It's called woman intuition. No, bruh, please. No, you know demons because you are a demon. Don't. Like, no. You're not zoning in. The scriptures tell you your senses are exercised when you exercise in the word. So, what do you exercise in? How come you all of a sudden tuned in and you can see spiritual things? But every time we talk to him, I mean, you talk to him, right? You officers talk to him, and what happened? It'd be like, where'd you get that from, sis? That ain't book. Where'd you get that from? That's weird. But it's like that because you're not letting the tutors and governors show you. You don't want to examine yourself and see your faults. It says what?
For they are foolishness unto
Read it
him.
from the top.
But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit
Go ahead.
of the Most High.
Go ahead.
For they are foolishness unto him.
So what is the natural thing that was innate in this man, Cain, that held him back? What are the natural qualities that held him back? Right? I mean, go ahead, say it.
It makes me think about when the scripture said the ungodly reasoning within themselves.
Ooh.
Like that the stubbornness. You start saying, you be present physically at the council, you be present physically with your husband or, the elder
brother,
sister,
right?
The brother, but in your mind, you already chopping out everything that's coming out. No, that's not right. That's not me. I don't do that. I do that sometimes, but not all the time. You be doing that. Like you said, they can point it out quick. You be doing that.
Right.
I saw you do that the other day, but
You
what about examining yourself first?
And you see this evil mind state, it doesn't help you.
Right.
Okay, so you pointed me out. Let me work on me.
Kind.
Right? That's why you gotta, okay, so that's what I need to work on. I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna show you that I'm not you. Oh, okay, you wanna point me out now? Okay, what do I need to work on? Let me get that right first. But after you tell me about me, are you ready to be told about you?
Taking your mode out too.
Yeah, exactly. But that be the mode. Nah, I don't want to see me. I don't want to recognize the battle that's in me. And these are the things that hold back the spirituality, the growth in the spirit. And you gotta, if you don't stop, we know the outcome, right? And I know I don't want to jump way ahead, but we want to go through these steps. What stopped Cain, the natural man? Because he can't receive things of the spirit. What stops that brother or sister? The natural man, the natural mind, the carnal mind, right? Go ahead, finish that.
Neither can he know them.
Neither can he what?
Can he know them?
Go ahead.
Because they are spiritually discerned.
See, they're spiritually discerned. What does that mean? Why can't they pick them up? What does it mean, spiritually discerned? Anybody? What?
They don't know how to rightly divide. Like the scriptures say, they don't know how to rightly divide what's truth. Mm-hmm. Their truth ain't truth.
Right.
Right. They don't look back at all of the mistakes that they made. They can look at your mistakes. So when they're trying to judge, they can't pick it up correct. They judge incorrect.
See, the whole point is if you knew the gospel, and let's pan out a little bit. A lot of us, the problem is that I said it the other day. We got the knowledge, but we didn't do what the scripture says. Before we correct, let our obedience be seen. You see that? And that be the problem with a lot of men and women, is that you don't worry about you first, right? You worry about everybody else and what you see. Go ahead.
After the definition, I got a scripture.
Okay, the definition of what? Discern? Did somebody grab that?
Hebrew?
Oh, what you got?
Hebrew is foreign to it.
No, not that one. No, spiritually discern. Who got to discern? What? What you got?
Discern. To recognize or identify as separate or distinct.
Right. So they're unable to what? Recognize and identify. Because the natural man, first of all, what is that all saying? That's just saying what? The scriptures won't come into your brain and they won't be there for your service because you're so carnal minded. That's all that means. Right. The natural man won't receive the things of the spirit. That means that you don't even know how to precept, put the gospel together, and properly analyze because you're so carnal minded. Right? And defiled. What's that? What you got?
Precept.
Oh, everybody got precepts. Okay. We got to start with this man right here, then we can pew. All right? Go ahead. Where you at?
Hebrews chapter 6 and start at verse 12.
Okay.
Hebrews chapter 6, verse 12.
Go ahead.
That ye be not slothful.
Or 5 verse 12, I'm sorry.
Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12. For the time ye ought to be teachers.
See, the time is the person who's not spiritually discerned. You think you're in this position where you can judge rightly, but really, the time you think you're supposed to be a teacher, right? When you come in, you get a couple of scriptures, you get a couple of breakdowns, you hear Most High is black, the disciples are black, death to the white man, right? Kwame Yashala, you get all of that, but then, so now you think you get puffed up in your mind. You get a couple of knowledge scriptures, you watching this video, this debate, you take it in this class. So, but the time you feel you're supposed to be a teacher, because I've been in the truth since you know what I'm saying, 7 years. But you just consistently started coming to class. You barely got the weed smoke off of your nostril hairs, right? You barely started pulling up your pants. You barely started speaking proper, bro. It takes a long time for weed smoke to clear out of your nostril hairs. I was a cigarette smoker and a weed smoker for a long time. It takes at least a couple of years before your brain cells start to begin to rejuvenate. Yeah. Before the smell comes out of your pores.
You ain't lying.
Like, damn, aren't you still smoking? No, lie. It's been 2 years. Damn, bro, you got to do another detox. Come on. 3 years. Damn, you got to do another detox. Come on. Year 4. Right? Whoo, no smoking. No, not even being around or affiliated or associated with smoke. Right. Still come barely hint coming out of my pores. Right? So, but this time, this whole time period that you feel that you're on this level, read it again.
For the time ye ought to be teachers.
Because now you've been consistently coming. You know, I'm with the sisterhood. I know about the sisters. I'm associated with the elder sisters. Shoot, I got some knowledge. You sisters come to me. You think you're supposed to be this teacher. Go ahead.
Ye have need that one teach you again.
But you're still missing something. You still got pride. Pride is the beginning when one departs from the Most High. So what do you need? You got to get taught about yourself. Why do you still rebuttal? Because you got to get taught about yourself. You always got something to say. You always got a statement. You always got a high-minded, boisterous, disrespectful opinion about something that doesn't concern you. So that you have to get what? Read it again. Go ahead.
Ye have need.
Now you have a necessity. Something's needed because you're still rolling in this old fashion. You're still trying to engraft old crap with new stuff. Right. You're trying to put old wine in a new bottle. You're going to burst. Your clothes are going to rent. Right. So you have need that what?
That one teach you again.
You have need that you got to get taught all over again.
No, because it brings us right back to Cain. What did Cain get? he didn't want to be taught.
That's right.
Right? This is the spirit on him. Remember, you're like, well, it didn't go into all of that. We're gonna get to that. Well, we gotta understand what the gospel says. What led us to that point? Like, nobody just comes out of the womb and is just demon. You know what I mean? I look at my kids, you see them, right? You see your kids come out of the womb, you're like, these cats are innocent as hell. They don't know nothing. That demonic possession comes in as they get older and character changes. It warps them over time. And that's all of us, right? The natural man, when it says we're born in iniquity, that's what happens. We're born in this world, and then you start then watching TV. You start listening to music. You start seeing your mama beat your daddy. Your daddy beat your mom. It's 2024. Right? You get your ass whipped by women nowadays. Yeah, let's talk about it. Right? So you start to see these things, and what do? They warp your perception. They warp your environment. Right? Child psychology. Y'all should know this. You don't need the white man to tell you all the time about child psychology when you yourself are psycho. Alright? Go to we can. I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna flip right back. Because just what you're saying, Proverbs 12:1, is right on track what you're saying. Go ahead. Read that.
Proverbs chapter 12, verse 1.
Go ahead.
Whoso loveth instruction.
Whoso loveth what?
Instruction.
So the Most High is showing us what has to happen for you to gain this knowledge. You gotta love to be instructed. Now, ask yourself, how many of y'all are more ready to hear than open up your mouth? You know what I mean? How many of y'all are ready to say, you know what? Let me listen and let me not think I know and let me just follow. Read it again.
Whoso loveth instruction.
Go ahead.
Loveth knowledge.
Go ahead.
But he that hateth reproof.
He that hateth that instruction. Yeah. He that hateth to be told. He that hates that correction. Yeah. He that hates that someone leading him or her.
Wait a minute. But listen, I don't hate the correction, but you just didn't get it exactly on point of what I did wrong. Right.
You didn't pinpoint it, nailed it verbatim, or else. How many cats do it? That's that old, bruh, this ain't the streets. That old Kmart knowledge don't work. That's why I tell people, okay, you didn't get it's called the gist. Did you get the gist of that? Yeah. Like, you know what the gist of it is, right? Or do I gotta, it's like, wait a minute, but you're so on it, why are you so slow? You're on it, but you're slow at the same, which one is it? The problem is that a lot of us, we don't want to be instructed. So we're trying to evade. We're trying to run from the process. And this is what happened with Cain. He didn't want back to him. Go ahead.
Read that again.
Right.
For the time ye ought to be teachers.
Go ahead.
Ye have need that one teach you again.
Because why? He was in his own mind. He was right in his own conceit. But then you're wondering, well, why aren't I getting blessed? Why didn't the Most High accept my gift? 2 Corinthians 8:12. If there be first a willing mind. That's the problem. That's why there's no growth. You don't have a willing mind. If you don't have that willing mind, then you're not going to grow. If you don't have that willing mind to hear the correction, love the correction. David said, let the righteous smite me. What does that mean? Did he literally mean let the righteous just come and smack me upside the face? No. When Nathaniel came and told David his wrongdoings for dealing with Bathsheba, committing adultery, killing Uriah the Hittite, David got mad at the parable. He was like, that man needs to die. He was like, wait, you're that man. He was like, oh. And the song, it shook him. He was like, wait a minute. But then the Most High gave him two options. But the way he said, let the righteous smite me, it shall be a kindness. He said, you know what? Not my will, but the Lord's will be done. Whatever he chooses. So the Most High penalized him, but he still took it. He took it on the job. He took it in his household. He took it on the run. He took it in battle. He was being pursued by another man, by Saul, but then turned around being pursued by his son. Like that's like my 3-year-old coming up to challenge me. I can smack him upside the head and he done, right? But in the case of David, because they're like, man, David's a man of war. You sure you want to go against your dad?
Okay.
Right? But what did he do? He took that kindness and he fled. He was willing to do that. How many are you willing to have that spirit of correction?
Right.
Without rebuttal. That's why there's a need that somebody teach you again. Because you're missing the what? Go ahead.
Which be the first principle.
Because it's the what?
The first principle.
The class what?
First principle.
That's the first principle. That's the pinnacle. The very starting point. If you don't have a willing mind to learn anything, you're not going to get taught. You're not going to get increased. What's going to happen? You're going to end up being your own downfall or somebody else's downfall.
What's crazy, just on that point, what increases us? The knowledge or the spirit?
Spirit.
Go to Proverbs 15. I'm sorry, Proverbs 5 and 13. Proverbs 5 and 13.
Proverbs chapter 5, verse 13.
Right, so hold on one second. Let's go back to Genesis 4 and 3 and read down a little bit.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 3.
Go ahead.
And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Most High.
Go ahead.
And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Most High had respect unto Abel.
The Most High respect Abel because Abel was following the laws. Right? There was something in this man, child, to know, to do the will of the Father. And his brother knew. They both knew. But what happened? Cain decided to do different. Right? Why? The natural man. Why? He didn't go through the process. He didn't accept the process. A lot of us don't accept the process. That's why it can be a distortion in the spirit. Right? We're not ready to really work on ourselves. You can have wisdom, right? Or you can have knowledge, rather. Right? But then the distortion is there and you won't have wisdom. You won't correctly apply knowledge, right? So he had it. They all have the law, but Cain didn't follow. So if y'all paying attention, the natural man ain't going to receive the things of the spirit. Right? Okay. So read that where we're at, 5 and 13. Proverbs 5 and 13.
Proverbs chapter 5, verse 13.
Go ahead.
And have not obeyed the voice of my teacher.
See, his teacher started with his parents.
Right.
His teacher, before it was class, it was parents. Right? Before it was the priest, it was the parents. It was Adam and Eve that taught him, and he didn't accept that. And that's why he erred. Who raised you? Okay, your mama and your daddy raised you. What did they raise you on? The principles? Huh? Okay, so you didn't get raised by the principles of the doctrine. So, who raised you on the principles of the doctrine?
Your teachers.
But I don't got a teacher. I'm my own teacher, so who raised you? Read it again. Proverbs 5 and 13. Yourself. You said it. Read. The natural man. No. Remember, if you put all the other precepts in there, yeah, it's the natural man, but there's a way that seemeth right unto a man. Every man is clean in his own eyes. So if you don't got somebody else, that's why it wasn't good that man should be alone. He gave him a woman. It wasn't good that a brother should be alone, go out in 2s and 3s. Right? It wasn't good for a king to be alone. He would have what? Counselors. Like literally. But you disobey the voice of your teacher. It wasn't good that the children be alone. You had the parents. You always had somebody to back you. But when you say, well, I don't need that, right? Then what do you got? You got your own mind. But the Bible is telling us when you ought to be teachers, you had need someone teach you. Right? But if I'm not obeying to that, then who am I getting taught? Who's checking me? Who's looking at it and saying, hey, bro, wait. Hey, son, wait a minute. What happens when our sons and our daughters be like, I'm not hearing you, Dad? What happens? Well, what the hell you think happens when you're the teacher and your student says, no, I'm not hearing that. I want to go the punch like this. Right? Well, we know what happens because all our parents that didn't have the truth raised us. And how did you get raised? Worldly. Worldly. No? Who was born a Hebrew Israelite? My kids and Ariadne's kids can keep your hands down. You was born a Hebrew Israelite, but for everybody else, see, it's worse on y'all because now y'all got no dang excuse, right? They can't say, "Oh, my mom was on dope. My dad was selling crack. He was shooting people in the hood." Y'all got it worse. Y'all can't say y'all supposed to be sitting back like, "Yeah, I was taught from the beginning that thou shalt not." So y'all got no excuse. But what the scripture say? Read it again. 5:13, Proverbs.
And have not obeyed the voice of my teacher.
Go ahead.
Nor incline my ears to them that instruct me.
Yeah, this is what you're going to say. When you err, when you mess up, when you fall off. Damn, I should have listened.
Right.
I should have listened to the voice of my teacher.
Right.
I should have listened to my significant other. You know what? When my brother was being my brother's keeper, damn, I should have listened to him. You see? So this is what this all entails, and you're seeing that something was missed with Cain. Something was rejected with Cain. Right? Was Adam and Eve repentant when they sinned? Okay. So it wasn't Adam and Eve that told them wrong. It wasn't them that told them wrong. Right? He chose this path. Y'all see that? They repented. They fixed it. That's why they gave the alms. Right? The offering. That shows repentance, right? He said you're going to give, he said those skins were going to be what? That atonement. Right? Go ahead. Go from there. Go to Psalm 50, verse 17. Nor incline mine ear to them that instructed me. This is what Cain didn't do. Read that. Psalm 50 and 17.
Psalm chapter 50, verse 17.
Go ahead.
Seeing thou hatest instruction.
See, the problem is when we start to hate instruction. He was given instruction. He hated it. Go ahead.
And castest my words behind thee.
Go ahead.
When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him.
Yeah. What did that lead you to when you cast the words behind you? You start following idiots. Right? Instead of, I'm not sitting in the seat of the scornful. Right? You're sitting with the scorners. You're sitting with these type of people. Why? Because you disobeyed the voice of your teachers. Who do you think Cain's buddies were? Huh? Little C. Cain, little Murder Cain. Right?
Little lie Cain.
Little lie Cain. Listen out here, there's nothing new under heaven. I guarantee there was a little light of Cain out there. What's up, Ak? What? What's up, Rakai?
Every time you're saying this, I keep on looking. I wrote down the definition of brute and brutal.
Okay.
Right, and the definition is stress likeness to an animal in low intelligence. So when we're not operating in taking this instruction, we're operating off of low intelligence because that's how you get the wisdom.
Right. How we get intelligent is by getting wisdom. Right? But we start following that natural man. And we know what that natural man does. It corrupts us. It keeps us sinning, right? The thing that you face the east with all the time. You're like, man, I can't. Yeah, I gotta face the east. Why? Because the natural man takes hold of it. But the problem is that Cain didn't see that. Why? Why does not Cain see these things? What you got? What precept you got?
Proverbs chapter 17, 18 and 20.
Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 17, verse 18. A man void of understanding striketh hand.
Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there, but you're right. We know we're not there yet. We're getting there though, because he eventually does what? He killed his brother, right? And yes, you start to see that with these individuals, that they don't know how to function and control themselves. They don't know how to condescend. They don't know how to show love. Because they haven't been instructed in the things of the Spirit of the Most High. We were talking about that the other day. Right? Why you see that among us. If brothers are so spiritual, why are you striking? Why are you trying to be a fighter, a brawler? Right? Very, very on point. I wish you would have held that one though, because that's dope. Right? But are y'all getting this? Right. Go to Proverbs 13, 15.
Come. Proverbs chapter 13. Verse 15. Good understanding giveth favor.
And that good understanding came from you actually listening to your teachers, obeying the voice of your teachers, because they was instructing you in the way of the Most High. They was instructing you how to be that godly man, that godly woman, that says that every man that says to himself, man, I want to please the Lord. They were trying to teach you how to literally live that, how to let that inward dream to please the Father become a reality. But you were trying to run away from the process. And Cain was running away from the process. Like, in the beginning, it was talking about their job titles. Their job titles was the dynamic, the process that the Most High was putting them through to show them about spirituality. But one gave himself to it, the other one, he ran from it. He tried to find shortcuts. He partially heard his parents. Because he didn't really listen. You see that? He didn't really listen to his father, so he didn't really get the good understanding. He didn't get the clear understanding. That's what good understanding is. It's clear. Right. Read.
But the way of transgressors.
So he transgressed. When you transgress, when you think about trespassing properly, right? You go beyond the means of where you're supposed to go, and that's what he did. He went beyond the means of where he was supposed to go. In actuality, we find out that he shortcutted. So he didn't even go. He didn't even run the mile. He ran about what? 2 minutes, and he stopped. He stopped listening to his parents at a certain point, because something in there he didn't want to listen to. Something in there that in the instruction that he was getting, he didn't want to give himself to, because he wanted to give himself the way he wanted to. And that's what's making his way hard. And that way, him making his way hard, go to Wisdom of Solomon 9 and 14.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9 and verse 14.
Right.
For the thoughts of mortal
16.
men.
Go to 16.
Verse 16. And hardly do we guess aright.
And that's the transgressor's way is hard. He was unable to guess aright, because he was lacking that good understanding, because he was stumbling in his thoughts and his emotions, because everything was everywhere, right? And like he keeps saying, we know the end of the story, but we know the end of the story only happened because he lacked self-control.
Check this out. Look, I'm gonna just say this: have any of you ever felt like you're juggling things in your mind and you can't just figure certain things out? Like you're like, I got one nod. Who else felt like that? 2 nod. Oh, we got a few nods here, right? Well, the more skilled you get and the appreciation of counsel you get, you won't be like that. I don't go through that, because as soon as 46 this year, even though if I don't know, I don't let my mind go and be like, battle myself. I go to men of wisdom and ask. Hey, what you think of this? Hey, what you think of that? Right? There's no reason to go through that. There's no reason to go back and forth with your mind, especially when you don't know. Because you're going to go to places and you're going to try to make your reality reality. Right? It's like this. If we wanted to know, if we wanted to prove the Bible was real, right? And the Bible is actually the book of God. When you went to go do that, and you go to look up history books, artifacts, right? And you go to look up all these things they digged up, what are you going to find? About all the information, you're going to find two things. What are they? See if anybody is guessing this one. Making y'all think tonight. For the Shabbat. Huh? When you get all this information, two things you're going to find out. Come on, man. Y'all are Hebrews. Okay. We want to prove that the Bible is real. You're going to look up, you're going to Google, you're going to get artifacts, you're going to go get all this information, right? You're going to start looking at the Dead Sea Scrolls. You're going to look at who wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls. You're going to look at what the Bible was interpreting. You're going to look at all that. And what are you going to find? Two major things. Come on now. What?
That the Bible's a history book because
no. Go ahead, because that's one of them. I didn't want that one first. Go ahead. The Bible's a what?
The Bible's a history book.
The Bible's a history book, right? What two things are you going to find? What? You are. What y'all saying is not wrong. What? What you're going to find is the truth and the lie. You're going to find people telling you that the Bible is not real. You're going to find history books. You're going to find the Council of Nicaea. You're going to find out how that the Bible is a lie. And it was made up. And then you're going to find that the Bible is true. Now, whatever one you like, you can paint that narrative. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the Spirit, when you're in the Spirit of the Most High, it's going to lead you to righteousness. You're not going to have a choice to make. It will lead you to the Spirit. But that's what Israel plays with. Our people play with that a lot. You want to play with the lie and the truth, and then figure and then battle it yourself. But somebody think, let's go back to it. I know you're like, well, what the hell? Okay, you was a Christian, and then somebody came up to you and said you was a Hebrew Israelite. How did you know that was true? Watch this. How?
They went to the scriptures.
They went to the scriptures. And they showed you what?
Slave ships.
Right, they showed you the slave ship. But did you study? So what did you believe? You believe the truth or a lie?
I believe the truth.
How do you know?
Because the information.
See, you know why you believed it without studying? Because the Spirit, there was something there. When you don't got the Spirit of the Most High on you, this is my whole point on that. You can read all you want. You can read everything you want. And if you got demons on you, it'll lead you to the demonic side. If you got the Spirit of truth with you, it will lead you to the truth. And you didn't have to study all that. Most brothers and sisters come in the truth, be in the truth 5 or 6 years, and barely start studying. Why do you think they get so caught up online? But I'm talking about really studying. Right? Barely start studying. Because there's a lot of questions in here that you don't know yet, but you believe. That's the Spirit. So when the Spirit ain't with you, what you got? You got the natural man that can teach, that will go with anything. Right. You see why this is not a game? That you play around with these spirits, your ass will be into devil worshiping next week. you'll be into, you know what? The Bible's not real. There's a whole GMS sect that left GMS and now teach that Christ is not real. Did y'all know that? There's a whole... I didn't know about it until they were like, into Quatazop and the whole, what's the name? Clubhouse theme. I started going into that. There's these whole sect of brothers that left GMS and went into Jesus not real. They don't believe in the New Testament. And these brothers was teaching. You know why they did that? Because they never really learned or was in the spirit and understood the Most High. So what happens? It's easy for you to be swayed and moved by any spirit. You see that? Yeah. Because knowledge goes both ways. You can pull things up. Bro, we want to deal with knowledge. It didn't matter. It didn't matter the knowledge. You need the spirit. That's why you can't play with these demons, man, because your ass will be an Israelite 1 minute and you'll be a devil worshiper the next. You'll be that brother or sister, what you say in class yesterday? Sister, oh yeah, I used to be a Hebrew Israelite. What she say?
Yeah, she used to keep the Passover, Sabbath, but she said she didn't have any joy, no joy.
I didn't have no joy in it. Yeah. You see how easy it is? Why? Because she wasn't led by the Spirit. She never received the Spirit.
She got led by a spirit.
She got led by a spirit.
That happened to a brother in Houston, Colorado.
Right.
He started studying on the left side, learning all the power about the penile gland, the chakras, all of that research, worked his mind, played with those spirits, and then actually that transferred down to his son. So his son tried to study astral projection, and now his spirit's not right. He has a serious mental issue.
This is not a story. This is real.
This is actually real. The brother, I grew up with the brother's son. So I watched him grow. He's 19 now, and the brother he has outbreaks every few months where he gets delusional. He talks about seeing dead people coming to him, all kinds of weird stuff. Why? Because he played around with the stuff his dad would pay no attention to.
Yeah, and the brothers were during that the stage of the penile gland. Remember that about 7-8 years back, where everybody was trying to decalcify the penile gland and do anything to tap into that level. When we were breaking that and talking about leave that alone, don't do that, brothers were still like, nah, on the side, I'm going to be studying on that. And he lost his damn mind. But my whole dissertation in saying that is that this is why you have to really understand what you're given and how we're not in the time of games. Right. Like, you cannot play games with this because you will be a castaway. You got to really be tuned in with the Spirit of the Most High. That's why there's some weak and sickly among us. Because you don't go eat at home. You're not in the book. Right? So, where are we at? Come on, you had it.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 16. And hardly do we guess aright.
Right. And those, like you said, those spirits will lead you to where now you hardly guessing right. And now your judgment's off.
Right, there you go. Right back to it. Exactly. No, go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, your judgment's right off.
Yeah.
Read.
And things that are upon earth, and with labor do we.
And the things that's upon earth, because the Most High gave us the earth, right? And the earth is our ground to actually exercise using the Spirit. But then when your judgment's off, you're going to hardly guess at what decision to make at the right time. And you're going to be confused because of why? The very same thing. Stubbornness. The stubbornness of Cain. The stubbornness that led him to where now his spirit, his emotions guided his decision making to what? Murder. We're going to go into it, right? Doing what he did to his sibling. Somebody that's kin to him.
But yeah, and even before he got, we see the progression in a negative way. That stubbornness had him not give the right offering, because it don't really say, it doesn't go into heavy, but what you got to get is that he didn't follow like his brother did.
Right.
The Most High said if you would, well, I don't want to jump, but you know, it's important that we understand, because the Christians are trying to spin it and say, well, what was wrong with Cain? Like, you're judging him the wrong way. But you got to...
You know, it's funny what you're saying, that's the trip up for us.
Yeah.
As believers, right? As believers, you say you're a believer. That's the trip up for you. Are you going to be looking at it for the wrong thing? Like, you just trying to, like, know what was going on? Or are you trying to really get the fact that he just didn't follow? Right. And that's what you're supposed to do, the opposite of it. Right. Because that's the essence of the story. Pick up that you didn't follow, and you need to follow. And that's the hardly guessing the right that messes everybody up, because you're looking for things in the Bible that you ought not look for. You're supposed to be looking for the simplicity in Christ. And that's what the Most High wants you chasing after, but you'll hardly guess at those simplistic things, those simplistic qualities that the Father wants in us, the love, the peace, the kindness, all those things, and how to achieve those things. And that obedience, because it comes from a step-by-step playbook. Yeah. And you don't want to do the step-by-step playbook because you wrestle with it, because it requires you to be disciplined. And you can't move the way you want to move. So when you want to go right, but the Most High say go take a left step, you're like, no. You keep pushing right, but that brick wall is there keeping you, trying to show you you're not going to go right. Yeah. I'm going to keep hitting you. Car accident, headaches, body ailments, right? Pit bulls, right?
Pit bulls?
Oh yeah. Somebody had a dog, they opened the door and the dog just went, right up on them. They just opened the door. It could have been a mauling beast. But it's all those things. Hardly do you guess it right, and then it manifests itself in the flesh.
Go to Genesis 4 and 5 real quick.
Genesis chapter 4 verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect.
Yeah, no respect. No respect because he didn't come with the right mind. No respect because he didn't come with the sincere love and desire. No respect because he didn't really appreciate what he was doing for the Father, what the Father was doing for him. Because the Most High don't really need us. He told Moses he can raise up stones to serve him. So he don't really need us. He don't need our work. He don't need nothing from us. But he wants you to learn something. He wanted Cain to learn something. And go to Proverbs 10 and 16.
Proverbs chapter 10, verse 16.
And this is what Cain was supposed to pick up. Read.
The labor of the righteous tended to life.
He was supposed to learn how to tend to life. He's a tiller of the ground. He was supposed to learn how to take care of that ground, but him learning how to take care of that ground was going to teach him how to care for the people around him. The same way David learned how to care for the sheep, the one sheep that stepped out the flock. Right. But that love, he didn't allow it to be entering into him. He didn't allow it to be instilled into him. So the Most High had to what? Show him, I don't have respect to your offering. And it broke his spirit down. I'm jumping, right? Who had the Genesis? Finish it.
And Cain was very wroth.
And you see that? He was very angry. He was upset. Read.
And his countenance fell.
His countenance fell because he skipped the steps. And the Most High was like, look, I'm not gonna have respect on your offering. I'm not gonna have respect on the way you're presenting yourself to me. And that's what we gotta look at with the lesson that we're supposed to be gaining from the story. Why is every time I try to do something, I try to get it right. I say I want to overcome the spirit within myself, but then I always stumble back into it. I always stumble back into lack of discretion. I always stumble back into arguing with my husband. I always stumble back into rebelling with the brothers. I always stumble back into just being weak and submitting to my wife, right? When she requires some discipline, she needs a check. Why do I always stumble back into those things? Why? It's because you're not coming with the right mind. You're not coming with in heart, right? You're not coming with the proper intention. And that's what the Father's looking at. He's looking at your intention as you're taking steps forward. Are you going through the proper roadmap? Or are you skipping steps? Are you listening to half the counsel? You got something? Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 9. Because that sick mind state that you're having in the road blockage that you don't have, that you're not growing from is because of this. You think you know in your mind, but this is the reason why you have a teacher. Who got it?
Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 9.
Like we just pulled, and that's what one of the things why a brother has another brother, why a wife has a husband, why the parents have the father and the mother, because they understand as you being the teacher, teaching your flock, you understand this, something that they're missing. Go ahead.
The heart is deceitful.
The what?
The heart is deceitful.
Your mind is lying to you. Yeah. If it doesn't line up with the scriptures, You're lying to yourself. If you can't think of a scripture to combat what you're going to do, or you can't think of a scripture to justify what you're going to do, you're lying to yourself. It's deceitful. Go ahead.
Above all things.
Above what?
Above all things.
There's nothing more wicked than your own mind. You are your own worst enemy. And you're going to try to convince yourself to believe a lie and get yourself into trouble. Get somebody else into trouble. Right. Go ahead.
And desperately wicked.
And that's why Cain did what he did. He tried to when you read in Zechariah 7:11, he pulled away the shoulder. He got instruction from the Most High. He said, I don't want to jump, but if you do righteousness, this is what's going to happen. If not, sin lays at the door. He pulled away the shoulder. I'm sorry. But that's what he did. Because he wanted to go off of his desperate mind. His desperate mind to do what? His own gratification. The natural man crap. The natural brutish woman crap. That's why you have teachers. Because your mind is desperately wicked above everything else. Go ahead.
Who can know it?
Who knows it? You know who knows it? Your teacher. He understands the filth that you're thinking of.
Your teacher, your brother, your husband, your mama, right? The Most High has. That's why I went through that, because we got to expand our mind. Brothers don't understand. They think teacher or officer or whatever. It was about that other individual there for you. That's what it's about. It's always been about that. The labels is fine because the labels is mother and father is what? One word. When you think of mother and father, what word are you supposed to think of? As a Hebrew Israelite, on the topic, on the subject, what are we thinking about? One word. Teacher. Mother, what?
Teachers.
Teachers or what? Experience. Right? When you think of a mom and a dad, you're thinking like, they got experience. See, when you look at it that way, it's different. When you think mom and dad, overlords. The wardens. Taskmasters. Well, now let's bring it to the husband. The husband, my Lord. Everything, I guess, is just going to be your way. Okay. Right? You're not getting it. I got your back.
Right.
But if you don't let me get your back and you think you know every damn thing, but I know things too. But your emotions show that you don't.
Right.
And you literally let them run you more.
God.
So let me fall and do my job and you do your. You see, like, why do I have to go to, yes, the Most High put me over. Why do we got to go to that? Who's ruled by their emotions more? Huh? Your husband's taking cry breaks? I ain't going to the crew cry break. I can't do this no more. Right? Is he doing that? Huh? Okay. Is your husband on his menstrual cycle every other day? Like, it just pops into another damn knot. He's like, oh, who are you today? Is he doing all that? And he comes in and I can't do this no more. Does he do that? Most likely, who does that? You do, women. So let your husband do his job and balance you out. Well, what about him? He has his brother. Everybody has somebody. But that's why it's important for brothers not to deny their brother. Which is, you could say elder or brother. It don't matter. Or teacher. Somebody balance each other's out. But when you don't want to fall and understand that, you're not going to get what you need to balance you out. And that's what we're seeing with this guy, Cain, right? Where are you at?
Did you finish up? Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 10, verse 16.
Proverbs what? 10 and 16.
10 and 16.
Go ahead.
The labor of the righteous tendeth to life.
Right? And that's what Cain was supposed to be learning and grasping. But he missed out on it. And right now, our dynamic, everybody here has a dynamic. If your responsibility is just coming to class and being here consistently, do that. That's the responsibility the Most High has given you, to teach you about consistency, right? About dedication, about coming, giving yourself, right? At the level that He's requiring you. So everybody has a level. Everybody knows what responsibility they have. So think about the responsibilities you have and look at it as the Most High is teaching you something. right? We don't want to we don't want to go through that experience or have that responsibility and go through it like Cain, where where his pride comes into play, and where he's skipping steps on the instruction that he's given. So read.
The fruit of the wicked is sin.
Because that's what mind he was in. He was in that wicked mind to where he let himself right into sin. He didn't realize that because he was hardly guessing right, he was leading himself right into the pride. Right? And then pride led him right into what? Destruction. The stubbornness led him right into his death. What you going to say, Aaron?
Oh, the next verse?
What do you go ahead?
He is in the way of life keepeth instruction.
Okay. Right. If you keep instruction, you're gonna live. But what did Cain do? Read.
But he that refuseth reproof.
And we know that he refused it. Because he cast it to the side of his mind. He cast it to the side of his brain. That don't apply to me. Why do I gotta listen to that? That's not my present situation. So why would you be telling me that in this current moment? Did not think about the future, you're thinking about the moment. That shows your immaturity, that shows your carnality. Which was Cain, what Cain was. Because think about it. You don't think his parents were sharing their experience of the mistake they made?
Wow. What? Dang.
Yeah, you got to think about that.
They were supposed to, yeah.
So they was preparing him for the future.
Wow.
When he steps out the house. But obviously he was in the house with his own mind. You got to think about that. That's heavy.
Yeah.
He refused instruction, read.
Yeah.
Err.
You erred. He said, he that refused reproof. Right? You erred. So you're going to do wrong. So that means it's automatically, that's what's going to follow right after. So as soon as you get out of counseling, you sit in the midst of that counsel, you're like, nope, I don't apply to me. I don't see it that way. But what about this? No, maybe, kind of, but no. When you walk away with that mind, then guess what? You're going to err as soon as you walk away.
Right.
And the Father's going to make you bear witness through the error. Something's going to happen. And things do happen. And now, it's happening at an even more rapid pace.
Right.
Like, it's not taking a week. It's taking like a couple hours later. You walked out of the council and then something came up right after the council. If you didn't listen, right? A good thing if you listen, but if you didn't listen, then something bad happened, right?
Right. Mind you, the counsel is to protect you. The counsel is not about, hey, let me go sleep with your rib.
No.
So why are we rejecting this?
Right.
It's not about, hey, make your bank account my account. It's not about, hey, sell your kids on the black market.
Oh, come.
No, you got to get ridiculous like that because it's like, whoa, what are we arguing about? Oh, ego. Ego. Pride. Why think about it. You're not battling wickedness. You're battling your own ego because you don't want to be told about yourself. That's what we're dealing with. And that's what hurts a lot of brothers and sisters. Like, it would be nothing for us just to let you just get damn plummeted by the Father. It's our job to do what the scriptures say. Blow the trumpet, blow the horn, and warn you. Like, that's not the way. That's the wrong mind. You got to rationalize it the correct way to understand that I'm being held for the pitfalls through my brother, my sister, right?
Yeah. Proverbs 21:27.
Proverbs chapter 21. You said 27?
Come.
27.
Right. And it says in Genesis 4:5, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And we're going to figure out why the Most High didn't have respect to his offering. Read.
Proverbs chapter 21, verse 27. The sacrifice of the wicked is abomination.
You was holding something? Which one?
This is Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12.
Oh, no, you good. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey. Come on. Go ahead.
The sacrifice of the wicked is abomination. How much
so? He says, Proverbs 21, verse 27, the sacrifice of the wicked is abomination. So the Most High letting you know, what Cain was bringing was abominable. Right? And let's get the definition of abomination real quick. Just to give the visual. Right? Abomination. Abomination. And we're going to find out what that abomination is, how the Most High looks at it. Go ahead.
Abomination, Webster's 1828, extreme hatred.
Extreme hatred. So the father, it said the father had no respect. That means he had extreme hatred towards Cain's offering. Because think about it. Was it the offering or was it the mentality? The stubborn mind. It said that the stubbornness means dogged determination not to change one's attitude. So the Most High was looking at him way ahead of time before he even did what he did to his sibling, right? And he was looking at how he was listening to his parents. You sitting there quiet, saying, come. Yeah. Okay, I don't want. Okay, you think you're the ish because God gave you the wisdom first? Okay, calm, cool. Wow, you think okay, you think you're the woman because you're right next to my dad, Adam? Like, who do you think you are? He in his head doing all this stuff, right? Because you think Adam gonna take that from and open it? Oh, he ain't gonna open his mouth to Adam. Adam had dominion over the earth. He's not gonna open his mouth. He's got this in his head, and he's playing with it in his head. And the Most High sees that, because the eyes of the Lord are 10 times brighter than the sun. And the Most High watching that, he's like, by the time he got to that altar, he's looking at all the offerings, and it's like a scribble. You know, you see a kid drawing in school, and you looking at it, you're like, whoa. You saying yay because you're the parent, but you're really looking at it like, whoa, my kid can't draw. But that's what the Most High look at that offering. Like, it's disgusting. It don't look good, right? You got to do better, and that's what the Father was looking at. Like, this man got to do better. I got to let him know I don't respect this. This is abominable. This is something that's hateful because you didn't even put your spirit into it. You didn't put your spirit and you didn't put your effort. Because when you apply it to us now, are you putting your spirit and your effort into getting rid of your pride? Are you putting your spirit and your effort into getting rid of your hate? Are you putting your spirit and your effort to get rid of that old you that was what? Whether you was a street cat, whether you was the 9-to-5 dude, whether you was a super Christian, whether you was the average Joe, whether you was the star athlete, you thought you was somebody, are you letting go of your standard of living for the Most High standard of living? And that's the question, because, and you can ask yourself that question like you're seeing those moments where you get into your feelings where something's being said to you. Those moments where you're in your feelings and something's being said, that's the question. Because that's the moment where you're determining whether I'm moving forward in the spirit or moving backward in the spirit. Yeah. And that's the offering, because you don't have nothing. Your offering, your sacrifice, our sacrifice is our spirit. It's what's inside the mind. And that's what the Most High is really looking for. And he was looking at what was inside Cain's mind when Cain was walking to that altar with those scraps. Because that's what he tried to give the Most High, scraps. Read.
How much more when he bringeth it with the wicked mind?
You see that? And it answered it for you. He brought it with a wicked mind. So he was already looking at him with disgust before he even came to the altar. He just let him know. The Most High is straight shooter. He said, I don't have respect to that. And now his counseling failed.
So let me say this, because it's that time, y'all, where they start playing the background music. How many of us are doing things with a wicked mind? You know what I mean? You gotta look at yourself, because all you're gonna do is it's gonna destroy you. You can't do this with a wicked mind, a negative mind, a negative outlook. It's what I tell officers all the time, right? Right before they take that officer test, I say, you can't have nothing in your spirit. I done seen men have things in their spirit. They get to this point and then they're gone. Why? Because add knowledge to power. What do you got? You got an egotistical, narcissistic, the authoritarian Israelite. That's what you have. Because why? You add knowledge to the narcissist, it's over. You can't tell him nothing he's not ready to hear anything. You understand? So you gotta be clear-minded. Like, you gotta work on yourself before you start to. We said it, but we didn't get it, and we're not done with this class. We didn't even get in the door on this one. But go to 1 Corinthians. What is it? 10.
2 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians 10. Right. Yeah, exactly. Right? We got to remember this. Go ahead, read that.
4, you want right to it?
Read 5.
God. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5.
Read 4. Go ahead.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
Right. Are you still trying to use the old weapons? The worldly weapons? Huh? You're going to write your mind in a diary. That's how I get it out. Show me that in the Bible now. I'll burn my book right now. I'll burn my Bible. Write it in the diary. Huh? Bro, the scriptures say what? Communicate.
Confess your faults one to another.
Confess your faults one to another.
God.
Right? It don't say put it in a damn diary. Because the diary is a place for you to hide it.
God.
You don't need to hide it. You need to express and talk about it.
Expose it.
I like that word. Expose it. So it don't say that. How are you using the weapons? What are your weapons? Huh? Is your weapon silence, hiding, not being noticed? Well, the scriptures say, Christ said, come into the light. He didn't say hide in the darkness. Right? Go ahead.
But mighty through power.
Right. Have you witnessed the power and how mighty it is to use the word?
God.
This is, you're like, are you teaching this or are you asking this? I'm asking you. I'm asking you, do you bear witness to this? That the weapons are mighty? Or is your way mighty? No, a lot of brothers and sisters, like there's kids in here that think their way's mighty. They know. Like you barely went under the ear and you know everything. The pride is sickening. Right? You don't know. Just say it. It's okay. You know what I mean? We say it all the time. You ask a question to you, and if I got to get back to you, I'm going to say, hold on a second. I'm going to get back to you on that. I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to just say it just because I'm me. I'll get back to you on that. But you got too many people in their ego, they don't want to look a certain way. Right? The scriptures tell you all things can't be in the Son of Man, so you're not going to know every damn thing. So why is it you? Why are you trying to hide? I don't want people to look at me a certain way. Well, what about the Father, bro?
Right.
Forget the people. Look at the Father's looking at you some type of way.
Right.
Like he was looking at Cain.
Right.
That's the whole point.
God.
Are we using our weapons for righteousness and the weapons of righteousness to do and to fight our battles? Go ahead.
To the pulling down of strongholds.
Okay. Are you going to be like Cain and keep these strongholds to get you to the point to where you're abominable? Right? You hold on to those strongholds. You write it right in you write it right in your little book. Today, I was thinking about stronghold 1. I'm never going to let you go. Huh? You like that? Go ahead. Your next title is Stronghold. Right? It's garbage. You're living in a damn soap opera. Go ahead.
Casting down imagination.
Because that's what it is. It's things that you put in your mind. It's like the imaginary friend you used to have. It's the same thing. You're just doing it with what? Grown-up things in the world. Right? And now you're believing these things. When Yahweh Shai said those are imaginations. Go ahead.
And every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of the Most High.
He said it earlier. Are you making sure you're putting up the gospel, the word, against these things before you make a judgment call in what you're doing? Go ahead.
And bringing it to captivity.
Are you doing that? And what we're seeing is, and we're going to finish this topic, but what we're seeing is Cain didn't do that.
Right.
Because his mind was so polluted. Polluted for what? A what though? Once again, as we get there, you're going to see what polluted his mind. So all we did was took you through a mind that's polluted, whether Cain or whoever.
Yeah.
How did it get there? Well, there's steps to get polluted. Reject knowledge. Think you know everything. Come into the truth and put your old persona with the new persona and create this animal. Right? That's what's going to get you there. Go ahead.
And every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach.
Right, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. Are you obedient to Yahweh Shai? Cain wasn't. That spirit of Cain, that's why he said, "You're of your father, the devil." He was obedient to Satan. Go ahead.
And having in a readiness.
Right, then, at that point, when you are obedient and you have used the word and you are skilled in the word, then as you're obedient, go ahead.
To revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled.
Yeah. Cain can't tell nobody nothing. Right? That spirit can't tell anybody anything. So start taking pride in accepting the righteous process. Just be able to say, "No, I submitted, committed, dedicated, was ready to cast out these demons on me, and I got nothing to hide. Why? I don't got no ego." Right. That's how we should all be. Because following that man is going to get us to see the fire. Right? We'll finish this topic. There's a lot. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because I'm liking where you're flowing with the class and breaking down the mentality. Because there's a process to righteousness, but there's also a process to what led Cain into killing his brother.
Right.
And when you pulled out abomination, just having that abominable mind state, you know, it shows right here in Proverbs 6 and 17, 6 and 15. I don't know if you have that.
Yeah. No. Oh, no, we don't got it out there, but go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16. These 6 things do the Most High hate.
Right.
Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. That's the what we read it in Genesis.
Right.
That's the step 1, step 2, and then bam, I'm gonna kill you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he obviously had a proud look toward. He didn't want to hear what Adam and Eve was dropping on him. Because if he would have been humble and listened to his father, he would have had an offering that the Most High would have had respect for.
Right.
But then what happened when he did kill Cain? Just jump a little bit. Am I my brother's keeper?
Right.
Well, so now you lying? You don't know what you did to him?
Right.
See, it's a progress. It's a process. And was all under the umbrella of stubbornness. Because he rejected the wisdom that Abraham, Adam, and Eve was dropping on him. But it's cold. I like it because you'll read this sometimes and you don't really get the layer of the mindset of this man. Or sometimes you read it and you'll be like, oh, well, that's just Bible time. Now, we do the same things today.
Oh, yeah.
That stubborn mind leads you to step 1, step 2, and now I used to be a Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah.
Or that used to be my husband.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you didn't want to take his counsel. You didn't want to take the Most High's instruction and apply it to your life. You still had.
It's not the Most High's instruction. Right?
Yeah, no.
It's yours.
Right. That's a book written by man.
Yeah. Oh, you start talking that. Yeah. All right. Anybody got any other questions? Do we got any other? Stubborn bees. That's what you want to do? Stubborn bees. I didn't say that. She put that up there. Stubborn bees. Oh, what is it? I'm sorry. My eyes are bad from over here. What does it say, sis?
The examples.
So what?
The examples of stubbornness.
Oh! Sorry, y'all. My eyes. She said the examples of stubbornness. Yes. I'm like, sis, you can't do that. That's wrong. Do we got any announcements or anything? Anything we gotta talk about? Any situations, issues, grievances, gripes? Any offenses? Oh, y'all on la time. Bro, I'm serious. So look, I'm gonna be saying this. I do this randomly just to remind y'all that any offense can be dealt with. You know what I mean? Everything can be dealt with. Deal with your brother. Deal with your sister. And if I offended you, then come to me and please tell me, because I wouldn't know unless you do tell me, right? So make sure we're clear. It's all transparency. If you can be a little bit more transparent with each other, then you won't reign in darkness and live in your own little hateful world. Just deal with your issues.
Yeah.
What else? No announcements, no nothing. When are we getting Sabbath meal started at?
I don't know what you want to talk about, but we need the money for.
Oh, okay.
Like
the initial startup. Okay, I got you. All right. Okay. What else? Nothing else? Officers got anything to announce? Anybody want to bear witness this Shabbat? No? Okay. All right. Everybody good? You need that guy right there.
If you want to bear witness, I'm a stubborn New Yorker.
Okay.
New Yorker breeds a stubborn, prideful mentality, so I ain't gonna count. And just looking at the week, I had Wednesday, right, where I chose to accept my own reasoning.
Okay.
Instead of applying what I knew to do, which was communicate.
No.
And I saw an unprofitable day.
Right.
You know, but I counseled after it. Took the wisdom.
Okay.
And that Thursday it was profitable. So,
right.
You know, it's a lesson that I can now, going with what the class is saying, you know, I can now not be a Cain.
Right.
You know what I mean? And not physically kill a brother, but kill him in the spirit, because I will be passing on the stubbornness to him.
Right.
You know, or her.
Right.
So yeah, I can be a
See,
witness to that.
that's, look, there's nothing wrong with that. Brothers bear witness to the spirit.
You know what's beautiful about this class is because I've been here for a few years and I know the ins and outs of both sides. I know what it's like to be stubborn as hell. You know what I mean? But that's what stunts your growth. Right? Just like we quote it all the time. 2 Corinthians 8 and 12. If there be first a willing mind. That's what holds you back. There's no willing mind. You get something simple as like, hey bro, you might want to pull up. It's the simple things. Like, it's hard to fathom because you're thinking, okay, well shit, if you tell me to duck, I'm going to duck. But I can't even tell you to tie your shoe. I can't even tell you to, bruh, make sure you wear a belt. I can't tell you, sis, make sure you don't hold the bottle like this. Bro, make sure you don't, but in an emergency, you're going to do it right. Hell no.
Right.
You're going to die in that instance. Why? Because you didn't practice the small things. And it's not doing it in a sense that where I'm going to do it and then I'm going to point it out. Look, hey, I'm holding the bottle like this. Hey, I brought my scriptures. No. It has to be inwardly. It has to be internal. It starts internal. Can you be that alarm clock for yourself to be like, damn, you know what? I got to make sure I'm on this. God damn, it's a lot. But you know what? He's right. I had this conversation with Rocky Mom one time, and she got defensive. But why? Because she had so much crap and so much shit going on in her brain that she didn't even know the simple scripture that she does know. And she's studious and studies. But I'm like, okay, so when you hear a wise word, you're supposed to what? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, but that's how you know you're not willing anymore.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know the basics, if you actually took the time, slow your brain down. That's how it starts. You're thinking of 1,000 miles a minute. You trying to guess what he's gonna say so you can say you already did it. You're already trying to guess what she's gonna say. So she's wrong, but you're right. Right? Oh, okay, I know you're right, but I'm right too. No, slow your brain down. Slow the truck down a little bit. Right? First, hear the matter. That's what the scripture says, right? The problem is the willing mind starts with hearing the matter. Shut your brain down. One. Stop talking in your brain. Listen. Hey, bro, you know what? I know you're on time a lot, but tomorrow I need you to be on time. You know what? I do need to be on time because tomorrow is important. It's that simple. But what do? No, I did. Bro, you know I'm already on time. Why you gotta tell me I'm on time, bro? Come on. At that moment, you lost the will and mind. Because you didn't hear. Bro, I know you're always on time. So tomorrow, make sure you're on time. All you can say is what?
Be on time.
Damn. I'm going to be on time. You know what? Matter of fact, because when you hear a wise word, you're going to add on to it. So instead, you're going to be like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to make sure I'm early.
Where, I know we can go into pride and all that, but where does that defensive mind come from? To where a person is already on defense.
I can answer that.
No, I want to see that. Where does that defensive mind come from? To where a person is almost like their first reaction is, you know what? No, I'm not in the wrong. I'm not doing nothing wrong. Where does that come from?
You don't want to be wrong.
It's really that simple. We're trying to overcomplicate it here. We're trying to get too spiritual with this, right? You just straight up don't want to be wrong. I thought that's what it was, but I'm trying to get into something else. I'm trying to figure out, is it that bad with certain individuals to where you got to be a rubber band man and be on the defensive because you just don't want to be wrong? Is that what it is? That's what it is? No, we're not going to get the definition. We're finna close class out. Why, sis?
I think he's right that you don't want to be wrong, but you also don't want that other person to be right.
You don't want that other person to be right.
Yeah. Right. Straight up, it comes from the devil. That's it.
What he said?
It comes from the devil. Go ahead.
I just think that part of it is you don't want to look like a fool or like you're dumb or you're stupid by being corrected. And I feel like people get defensive when they think that person's gonna just look at them and like, oh, you're just
Okay.
dumb or whatever.
Right.
It goes into not understanding that when somebody's bringing out what you're lacking or what you did wrong,
right,
it's actually them helping you get better.
Right.
So you're looking at it from like maybe you got that worldly mind to where people pointed out the things that you didn't do
in the world
and just left you with that.
Right.
And they give you you don't know how to raise your kids and just left you like you're a bad mother, but didn't show you how
to do it.
Right.
Right.
Like in here, we shouldn't have that mindset.
No.
Not with the Bible.
So you're saying you got PTSD?
Yeah.
PTSD.
Israelite PTSD. Go ahead, sis.
I was gonna say some level of insecurity to be defensively.
There you go. Now, see, that's where I want to go with it. The whole insecurities, the brothers and sisters that was abused in the past, and they still haven't let that go, so they can't appreciate somebody. They're like, that's a positive mind. Hey, out the water, bro, for helping me out.
Yeah.
Like, when's the last time you got that? When's the last? You know what I mean? Okay, how about from brothers? Have you got that from brothers?
Oh, Con.
All the time, man. That's 3 weeks. That's 4 weeks.
Okay, so do you sisters get that from sisters? Like, when's the last time you can think of a sister saying, you know what, hey, Tawada says for that, you know what, I needed that correction?
I've gotten it a few times from a few sisters.
Okay, so that's what needs to be practiced. You know what I mean? So, what about in relationships? When's the last time you got that from your rib? Tawada, babe, I needed that correction.
4 Fridays ago?
Today.
Today? Okay. Like, pow! Just shot everybody in the face. Kaya! Got him! No, but that... that you said what?
There's an apple on that tree.
That needs to happen. It needs to happen more those righteous attributes, affirmations, they need to happen. Because a lot of times it's almost like you're sleeping with the enemy. Right? And it's like, why are we doing this? We lay together. Right. So, how many times did your kids came up to you and said, Dad, I needed that, man. That one-on-one. Mom, I needed that one-on-one. You know, the water for that. How many times? You see, so we gotta check our mentalities. But let's salute them online and say shalom. Shalom. We'll see y'all.
Chilling up in the kingdom, chilling with Yahweh Shai and all the brothers and the sisters, cooling out, having fun, drinking yayin with Yahweh Shai up in the kingdom, yeah. Who are we? Esdras! That who are we? Esdras! Can't hear you. Israel. Who's the power? Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's the power. Yeah. Who's the power? Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's the power.